Hi there again, everybody. Here we go. This is part 2 now of the 8-track video I was doing for you last time. If you remember last time, I mentioned about sensing foils, and at the same time as replacing these foams which sit inside there, we talked about sensing foil. Now then, for those of you that are not aware, but on a 8-track tape, all the music is split into programs. So you get 4 programs. Usually they've got 2 tracks on per program, 4 tracks, 4 programs making 8 tracks, hence 8-track tapes. Now then, very little can go wrong with these. First and foremost, the main thing which goes wrong with anything to do with tape is the cleanliness of the player. And these are no different, whether it be a cassette head, or whether it be a reel-to-reel head, or whether it be an 8-track head. They all need to be cleaned. Keep them clean with isopronol, alcohol, 99% rubbing alcohol, to get rid of all the brown oxide and all the rubbish off the mechanism inside your tape deck. Now then, the main thing that can go wrong with these is twofold. First and foremost, as we've discussed before, this will disintegrate. Once it's disintegrated, it won't play. And secondly, and the one which will frustrate you more than anything else, is the sensing foil. Now I've managed to wind this tape on until I can show you the sensing foil, and it's there. You'll see it when I lift it up. There it is. There you go. Now then, what tends to happen with these is, if that foil join where it's joined, because it's like a splice, if that is not of good sound repair, that will split there, and the tape will basically wind back in on itself, and you can't join it up that simply. In order to repair that tape once it's split or cut in half or whatever, you've got to, well, it's just, to get it back is a mammoth job, and it's going to take far too long to explain on this little video. So when you buy an 8-track tape, do a bit of maintenance on it. The best thing to do is split the case like I've showed you, but there is a simpler way, and I'll come to that in a moment. Also, give the case a bit of a clean, nice bit of polish on around the sides here, clean everything here, because these are there's quite a bit of friction on the sides of these, and the more nice and shiny and polished up it is, the easier it slides in and out of the player. Give them a bit of a clean, it'll look a lot better, and it'll look $1 million. And to give you some idea of a bad looking one, I'll show you one. Okay, this is one that's had nothing done to it, and there's another one. I bought 36 of these tapes for £10. Now these are in a bad state of repair at the moment. As you can see, the case is broke on that one there. The foam underneath is totally shot, and it's an absolute state. But the tape inside is probably as good as the day it was made. So with a bit of cleaning up, replacement of the foam, check the foil strip, and the best way of checking the foil strip is to put it in your player once you've done the foam, and wait for the program to change from program to program, and as soon as it changes, pull your tape out, and with a bit of luck you'll see that sensing foil. Check it, make sure it's in good order. If it isn't, do it again and replace it. Now once these have been done and checked, and these are untouched at the moment, you can get them back to looking like this. Hang on. There you go. So those are, if you like, before, them are after. And all that I've done with this is checked everything out, changed the foils, well in this case it's pads, put new pads on, cleaned it, polished it, and it's virtually as good as the day it was purchased. This is another one. My son bought me this one, Ben. You can see how clean and shiny it is. There again, felt pads have been replaced, but you can go from that to that quite easily. Right, so now that one in there, you've checked your sensing foil, it's in good shape. You can now put the top back on. Make sure that the tape is in the guides, make sure the tape is that side of the flange and not this side. It runs round the guides. It's got to go over that post there because that keeps tension. And that's roughly how it should be. Then you can put your tape cassette top back on. And all you'll do then is press that down and it's ready for go. Now then, I'll come back to you in 1 second. There we are, it's now back together. What I have done just for the purposes of this is I've removed that because this is only a working tape to demonstrate things on and I can't afford to waste them. So now then, a simpler way of replacing this without going to the trouble of this is, well, first of all, if you notice the sensing foils there it is, look at that's in good condition. Now then, this, as we've already seen in the previous section, sits underneath that running tape. Now then, I'm going to show you now how to get that out. So just bear with me a second. Right, here we go. All you will do is put a screwdriver underneath the tape and lift the tape into a loop like that. Okay, and then if you get your very thin screwdriver, non-magnetic, and get that thing out, it'll disintegrate, but what you're after is that piece, the lining top, and of course the backing. So let me just see now if I can get this out for you whilst you're on the line on the video here. So all you will do is put your screwdriver in there, lift it up and work it out. You can see it's coming out now. Get a pair of tweezers, it would be easier. Gently as you go, work it out. Now you'll probably find it'll disintegrate. There you go, you can see the state of it now. That's what it's like. That's what it should be like. Now then, in order to get this one back in, you use the hard base side down, and putting it back in is you slide it in, you slide it back in under the tape, switch the focus up, come on, there we go, slide it back in under the tape, underneath that post, slide it back in underneath that post which is roughly there, And once it's in, take the slack up on the tape. And it's ready to go. It's pretty self-explanatory because you will see that and where it is when you pull your loop of tape up, and when the new one goes back in, it goes back in exactly as that one was. That's the easier method. Saves you having to split all this lot in half. And to be fair about it, sometimes when you do split them, it does wreck the case. So that's it really. I will just mention one other thing. Just bear with me a second. As you know, we've talked about this, which you will find in probably 95% of these 8-track tapes. It's the same foam that's underneath. But occasionally, on some of the better quality ones, you'll find that it's got 2 felt pads under there. You can see them now on that one. Let me just even get it into focus for you. There they are. They're on a piece of copper. There they go. They're on a piece of copper underneath. Even those can come off and have to be glued on. But there again, you can buy them off eBay. That's just a different method of playing. Some of the later tapes came like that, but the majority do come with that system. Now then, also, you've noticed that a lot of the tapes come with flanges. That was the bulk of how the majority of them came. But some came, like this one, this Elvis one, RCA, came with a rivet, and it's nigh on impossible to split the tape unless you drill that out. And I've never done one of these. So there again, go back to what I said before. Check your sensing foil is in good shape, because that's where it's likely to break. And check as these pads are also in good shape too, because you'll get no sound out if they aren't. Give the tape a nice clean bit of polish on it. You can't do much about the bubbling underneath this paper because it was just cheap paper and cheap glue that was used in the time. But so long as you can get the tape to play and you've got new foam pads in and you've maintained it a bit, it should run forever trouble-free. Of course, you must bear in mind that you've got to maintain your recorder player as well. So that's it. A little bit of an insight into these things. Very cheap to buy at the moment. Like I say, I gave £10 for 36. Out of the 36, 20 I wanted, 10 are no use to me. So I shall salvage them for bits, because there's quite a few user parts in these you can use. Like, well, I can use get a case for this one now, because that's snapped. But you'd be surprised how well they come up. Okay, anyway, if you're not sure of anything, drop me a message on the club line and I'll come back to you as soon as I can. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm sorry I'm not Steven Spielberg on these videos. I'm not a producer. I just show you as it is. Okay then, so have fun. Watch what you're doing.